All right, guys, no fancy intro today, but for people that aren't used to the show, this is the Sports Detective Podcast show. My name's James Williams, and today we're talking about the LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith beef because Stephen A. Smith has taken this to absolutely disgusting new levels of hate. It's just absolutely disgusting. He just lied repeatedly on national TV today, and I'm going to do something that Stephen A. Smith didn't do because he's been talking about how LeBron James has been lying. I'll show you proof that Stephen A. Smith is lying, unlike what he is doing right now. So we're going to get into that here in a second. I'll show you what Stephen A. Smith had to say today on First Take. But first, I'll kind of tell you guys how we got to where we are today because maybe you haven't been paying attention to news. So basically, LeBron James on Wednesday goes on the Pat McAfee show. McAfee and his bros bring up Stephen A. Smith. LeBron, it's not like LeBron didn't want to talk about Stephen A. Smith because I think he probably would have had his people say before the interview, hey, we're just not talking about that. I don't want to give this guy the time of day. But I think he did it because he wanted to kind of poke fun at him a little bit. He compared him to Taylor Swift because he kept going on. He's like, I didn't have to address this stuff, bro. I didn't want to address it, but then I had to go and address it on First Take. I had to address them on my podcast like 17 times. I had to go on Gilbert Arenas' show and talk about it. I had to go on Sean Hannity and talk about it. So he was just on kind of like a media tour about it, basically, about a 10-second interaction. And, LeBron kind of called him out for that and said, hey, he's going to love the fact that we're talking about him here because then he can squeeze more content out of it. Well, that's exactly what Stephen A. Smith did. Basically, what happened was Stephen A. Smith lit a fire under himself. That's basically the equivalent of like 50,000 gallons of gasoline lighting on fire at once from one match. He talked in hypotheticals on his podcast last night, talking about, hey, if LeBron, if hypothetically, if LeBron put his hands on me in that altercation, I would have swung on him. And that led the internet to basically, actually, if I can get, I'll pull it up here while I play the clip of him. But we'll look at some of the funny jokes that I saw on the internet about that interaction there. But this led him, and he said a bunch of other things on the podcast too. I actually agreed with the thing that he said about Windhorst when it came to that. But he went to an absolute new low on First Take today when talking about this because again, he couldn't help but address it. He had to address it again. He's got to talk about it for 17 hours. He's got to react for like 4 hours to like a 1-minute clip versus just not saying anything and letting it go because he's incapable of holding an L. Without any further ado, let's just get into it. This is what Stephen A. Smith had to say about LeBron James. And he, by the way, he's I'm not going to show you the full clip, but he's lying. You just know that he's lying, and I'll prove to you that he's lying in this first 50 seconds of this clip here.
I suggest that he be happy with the things that I haven't brought up. I never brought up really and never really discussed why you were not at Kobe Bryant's memorial service. I never really brought up or discussed why you did not attend Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction when that man was directly responsible for you capturing a championship for the first time in your career. I brought up none of that. I didn't bring up the fact that even though when people had asked, you had alluded to what had happened tragically to your son, and thank God he's okay with his heart condition. I didn't bring up the fact that even though you couldn't go to the Hall of Fame induction of Dwayne Wade weeks earlier, you were out of the country on business. I didn't bring that up. That's your personal business, okay? But the fact is you wasn't at the Hall of Fame induction of a brother that's going to drastically assist to you being a Hall of Famer because he helped you become the champion that you are, and he was a big brother to you. I brought up none of these things. But LeBron James, at the end of the day, wants to come at me.
Okay, let's just stop it right there. Because then he's going to talk about how the fact that oh my God, LeBron hates me because I ranked him the second best player of all time behind Michael Jordan, even though I have him ahead of a Kareem. Let's go ahead and break this stuff down because first off here, I'll go ahead and show you guys this post here. So this is a quote tweet of that video that we just saw, and you guys can see here at the bottom of your screens. Twitter fact check Stephen A. This is incorrect. LeBron was in attendance to Kobe Bryant's funeral they're alluding to, according to the LA Times, Washington Post, and Entertainment Tonight. And by the way, guys, it takes you 2 minutes of research to find this out. It's just amazing. And you might be like, oh, well, why wasn't he like on camera there? He was actually asked about this afterwards, and if you read his quote, he actually gave like the perfect quote. First off, he said like, "Hey, I want to mourn the way I want to mourn, and I really don't want to mourn with cameras on me." And basically ended up talking about how courageous Vanessa Bryant's speech was, talking about Kobe Bryant and how brave it was and how inspiring and emotional it was, to hear her speak about her late husband and how much, pain she must be going through at this time. And basically, kind of the way that you would read into that is LeBron didn't want to be seen because he didn't want to make the story about him. And basically, in that quote, too, and I think that's what Stephen A might have been referring to, he didn't say, "Oh, I was there," or "Oh, no, I wasn't there." So I think that's what he's referring to. But again, Washington Post, LA Times, Entertainment Tonight said that he was there. Also, this happened there too, where Diana Taurasi was speaking about Kobe Bryant, and she clearly points to LeBron in the crowd. So let's go ahead and watch this. This is a short little clip, but you guys can watch here in this clip. She clearly references LeBron and points at him.
I mean, who has a turn-away fadeaway jumper at 11? LeBron barely got it today.
See, she clearly pointed at LeBron there. It's just you're factually wrong. Now, to the defense of Stephen A, he did end up saying later in the show, hey, he actually was there, but the fact that he didn't want to be seen on cameras means something, but then he doesn't tell us what that means, because probably the First Take producers heard him say that, and they like went and fact checked, and they saw everybody online being like, no, he was actually there. And they're like, actually, Stephen A, we're going to ping you in your ear. He was actually there. He was there. He was reported by several outlets. He didn't want to make it about himself. The reason he's saying that, guys, why is he saying that? He's either calling him heartless, or he's calling him selfish, or he's calling him a combination of both. But if anything, the fact that he didn't want to be shown, the fact that he didn't want to make the story about himself, probably means that he's doing the opposite of what Stephen A is trying to imply here. Okay, let's talk about the Dwayne Wade thing. Because for people that don't know, and Stephen A kind of alluded to that timeline there, but he did a bad job talking about it. I was trying to find LeBron being out of the country summer 2023. I couldn't find anything. But basically what happened, Bronny, July 24th, is 24th or 26th, I can't remember the date. That's when he has his cardiac arrest. By the way, Bronny had to get consulted by a few different doctors, and he actually ended up having to have surgery to, either repair or remove a heart defect. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I didn't realize that, or I forgot, I guess, that he had to have heart surgery. So Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame enshrinement was August 12th, 2023. So that's 2.5 weeks after his cardiac arrest. Well, this was a good day for the internet, guys. This is where the internet was used for good, because I saw somebody on the internet point this out here. I'll go ahead and show you guys this now. So this is a headline, and you can we'll read the headline, and you guys can see the date at the bottom. LeBron James and Bronny James in Minnesota after health scare, visiting Mayo Clinic. Look at the date there, August 8th, 2023. 4 days later, Dwayne Wade, Hall of Fame enshrinement. Maybe he wasn't there because his son was going through a health scare, and sorry they didn't give you updates about it every hour, every day. It's none of your business. It's personal stuff. It's his 18-year-old son, his firstborn son. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he's not giving you health updates. And by the way, the hypocrisy of Stephen A. Smith, the hypocrisy. Again, he's lying because he's sitting there being like, and I don't know if you guys, I wish I would have read it there, but that first video that I showed you was from Big Cat from Barstool, where he posted that video and was like, credit to Stephen A. for not bringing any of this stuff up, even though he's immediately bringing that stuff up. I'm not going to have time to do a proper edit on this video, so I'm not going to share it, because sometimes sharing different websites goes differently. But I'll go ahead and I'll copy, or we'll end up screenshotting, putting the headline of this article in the video here. But this is from 2 weeks, or I guess a week and a half after the Dwayne Wade Hall of Fame enshrinement. This is a headline that I saw, that I found. Stephen A. Smith's irate response to LeBron James missing Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame enshrinement. So even Stephen A. there is like, bro, me? Bring up the personal stuff? Bro, I don't talk about that stuff. That's not me. That's not me. That's the other guys. I don't do that when I talk about LeBron. Every time I talk about LeBron, I'm talking about the basketball court. That's all I'm talking about when I'm talking about LeBron, bro. He's lying. He talked about it in the moment. By the way, the only other person I saw talking about this and criticizing LeBron for this, Skip Bayless. That's what Stephen A. Smith's turning into right before our very eyes. It's like a harsher, meaner, more disgusting Skip Bayless as far as it pertains to LeBron. That's what we're seeing. He's turning into Skip Bayless. That's who he is now when he talks about LeBron. He doesn't care about the facts. He doesn't care about the logic of it. He just cares about being a hater. He cares about winning the argument. He cares about trying to own him. That's why he brought up the fact that, like, well, I mean, if he would have touched me, I would have bopped him. Like, by the way, watch that video. Watch his stance. Watch how kind of shocked Stephen A. was when LeBron approached him. He would not have swung on him. He would not. If he would have just done a LeBron would have done, hey, man, personally, don't talk about my son. You would not have swung on him. Stop lying. Stop lying, trying to be cool. You're digging yourself into a bigger hole. You're making yourself an embarrassment. This is disgusting, guys. It's one thing to bring this stuff up. It's one thing to bring up the Kobe Bryant thing. It's one thing to bring up the Dwayne Wade thing. It's another thing to lie about it. Blatantly lie. Unlike Stephen A. Smith calling LeBron a liar, I pointed out with facts that he's lying. Did he do that? No, he didn't. Because he doesn't care about the facts. He cares about being a hater. That's who he is now. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. And by the way, too, he goes on that video to talk about the fact that, like, oh my God, LeBron hates me because I ranked him number 2 all time. How dare I? Dude, this is the stuff. This is the stuff that drives me crazy and drives young people like me that are LeBron fans crazy. And by the way, I'm a Stephen A. Smith fan, too. I don't think I am after this because I'm disgusted by this. I'm irate at this, that this is the levels that he's stooping to in this debate to try and act like he's cool, to act like he's winning. I don't know if I'm a fan of his anymore after this, but people talk about, and he talked about this too, it's like they basically fetishize Michael Jordan's pettiness. Oh my God, Michael Jordan heard this guy talking trash on the basketball court, and then he just decimated him after that. He used that little comment and just destroyed that person. That motivated him. That's how great Michael Jordan is. He's basically able to take these little tidbits of things and be super petty and to use these little things like that's being petty to motivate himself. He's using these little slights to motivate himself. And with Michael Jordan, it's a big suck job fest. But then when LeBron might be using something like this of someone saying, hey, you're calling me second greatest of all time. Well, screw you. I think I'm better. I'm going to use this to motivate myself. And that's probably why he's still playing, because he wants to prove people wrong and he wants to keep compiling stats. He might want to keep winning more rings if he can to prove people wrong. Now, is he ever going to convince everyone? No, of course not. But when LeBron uses that pettiness, when LeBron's being petty and doesn't want to talk to Stephen A. Smith. And why is Stephen A. Smith mad? He's mad because he doesn't have access to LeBron anymore. He can't break the scoop that he had in 2010 when he knew that LeBron was going to go to Miami, or if he was going to leave Cleveland, he was going to go to Miami. He's mad about that. He's mad because it's ruining him in a professional sense, not because it's ruining him in a personal sense. That's why he's mad. And if you're LeBron too, why would you want that negativity in your life? Why would you want a guy that's getting mad at you for not showing up to Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame thing when you're probably being there for your son, who you don't know how much, like, you don't know, like, it's a heart thing. It's a heart issue. Like, that could have been something that could have been way more serious than it ended up being. That could have been something that's deadly. And you're asking less than a month later, well, why wasn't he there for Dwayne Wade? You and Skip Bayless. That's who you are. The last point I'm going to make here, and Stephen A. Smith, I haven't seen what he's probably going to talk about this again on his show, because why wouldn't he? I really don't care if he apologizes for lying. This is dark. You're trying to call LeBron selfish and heartless by saying those things. Oh, he doesn't care about Dwayne Wade. That's why he wasn't at his Hall of Fame enshrinement. Oh, he doesn't care about Kobe Bryant. That's why he wasn't at his funeral. It's one thing to say those things and imply those things about a human being. It's another thing that you blatantly lied about it. You lied. You lied that you didn't talk about it. You lied about him not being there. And that's disgusting. I've calmed down about this when I first read this. I'm really considering a boycott of just all Stephen A. Smith stuff and content. I don't watch his shows. I don't watch his podcasts. I see clips here and there. I'll have First Take on just to kind of like, maybe if I see just dumb topics they're talking about on that show that we can react to on this show. But I think I might just do a boycott. I'm that disgusted by this. This is gross behavior. It's just gross. It's low. It's spineless. It's scummy. It's disgusting. And he should be ashamed of himself. What will he's friends with Kobe Bryant, or was friends with Kobe. What would Kobe think about this? What would Kobe think about this? It's a thing to think about. I know we just went to a little bit of a dark place there, but by the way, guys, subscribe if you like this video. Like, comment, please do. Let's go ahead and just finish this up here. Let's go ahead and just I know that was probably one of the most mad videos I've ever done. Let's go ahead and these are a few posts I saw. Let's just kind of have a little bit of laughs here of the Stephen A. Smith LeBron thing. So as you guys can hopefully see on your screen right now, let's go to this first one. It's quoting Stephen A. Smith. I would have immediately swung on him. See the little LeBron thing there? Oh, I'm so scared. Let's watch this one. Stephen A. Smith swinging on LeBron. Oh my god, that's so funny. All right, I got another one here. How about this one? The hater report. Stephen A. Smith talking about LeBron online versus when he sees LeBron in person. Dog's just. Oh, then when he sees him in person, it's like, oh, me? I'm just an innocent little baby. I'm just an innocent little baby. Okay. I think this is the last one here. Another one from Hater Report. Stephen A. Smith holding on to that confrontation with LeBron for ratings and publicity. How is that kid hanging on to that guy? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm telling you guys, if I'm not already there, I'm this close to just giving up on this dude. I look forward to him going on Sean Hannity tonight, and they just do patty cakes with each other, and then just suck each other off of their crappy political opinions. I'll be fun, and then he can probably call LeBron a weirdo again, a liar, and even though he's just blatantly lying here. All right, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. Like I said earlier, guys, thank you for watching. If you got this far, thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that little laugh that we had at the end, too. I thought that some of that stuff was funny. And just gross stuff from Stephen A. Absolutely gross. Like, subscribe, comment if you can. Feel free to check out other videos. I was taking a few weeks off here for March Madness. But if you guys subscribe, we're going to start posting stuff again, probably Sunday night of March Madness. And then we're going to be really cranking them out once we're getting towards April here next week. So again, thank you for supporting this show. If you got this far, love you guys. Talk to you next time.